Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tyler, and if you're thinking, hey, you said your name was Jimmy in those other videos, well, I was trying it out and I decided to use my first name instead. This is the first part in my Gen 2 Living Dex challenge. In case you're wondering what a Living Dex is, it is simply having every single Pokemon in your PC at the same time, usually ordered consecutively to keep track. Each box only holds 20 Pokemon in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, so the first box would have Bulbasaur to Raticate, box 2 would have Spearow to Wigglytuff, and so on and so forth, all the way to Celebi. I will be using my real copies of the game, ripped to my PC via the GB operator. That being the case, I can only use the games that I physically possess, which in this case will be Crystal as my main save file, Gold, Red, and Blue. I also have Yellow, but will only need to reset once in Blue to get the third starter, and can play through Red and Blue normally to get all the other Pokemon, so I won't need to play Yellow. And I don't own Silver, but I can get all the Silver exclusives in Crystal and Blue, so I won't need it. To trade, I will be using TGB Duel, which is the only way I've found that works to trade Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. For this challenge, I will be doing everything that I possibly can in-game without any cheats, so you too can follow along at home. And in case you have Silver instead of Gold, then the Gold exclusives will be catchable in Crystal and Red. But that's not the focus of this video, so I can make a future video explaining all possible ways to complete this challenge if there's much interest in it. As I was saying, I will be doing this as glitchless as possible, however I will be completing the Living Dex entirely, and if the only way to get a specific Pokemon is through glitches or cheating devices, then I will be doing that. That being said, the only two Pokemon with this requirement are Mew and Celebi, and Mew is easily attainable in Red, Blue, and Yellow with a glitch in the Cerulean area, but Celebi is a bit more complicated. There is a glitch that anyone can do in-game to get Celebi, however its first 4 moves will be unobtainable without the use of Pokemon Stadium 2, so I will be using a GameShark code to activate the event to get a proper Celebi, or maybe I'll just showcase both options. With that out of the way, let's begin. As stated, my main save file will be Pokemon Crystal. We start off by collecting a refurbished phone from Mom, then go over to Professor Tree's lab to collect our first Pokemon. I chose Cyndaquil here because he's my favorite. Totodile is also a solid choice, and if you like Chikorita, then more power to you. We then receive a mysterious egg from Mr. Pokemon, and receive the Pokedex from the Professor Tree from the first game. Now our challenge can officially begin. You're in for a treat, Professor Oak. At Elm's lab, I named the rival Gavin. He just seems like a Gavin. Then we talk to Elm, and get 5 Pokeballs so we can start collecting. It isn't much for what we'll be doing, but it's a start. I let Mum save our money here, and I know it's probably the wrong choice, but I'm in this game for the long haul, and this way she will buy some Pokedolls to decorate our room eventually, and some additional items. We move on to Route 29 to catch a Hoot and a Rattata. I then use a secret menu and code to adjust the clock, allowing me to change the time to morning so I can catch a Sentret, Pidgey, and a Hoppip. Then on Route 46 I catch a Spearow, and leave Phanpy for now because it's difficult to catch and it likes to run away and we're limited on Pokeballs. On Route 30 we can catch a Ladybah, Weedle, and Caterpie, before changing the time back to night to catch Poliwag and Spinarak. Moving on to Dark Cave, we find a Geodude and a Zubat, leaving Teddiursa for now since it's similar to Phanpy. Then on Route 31 we find a Bellsprout and a Ghastly. At the top of Sprout Tower, Cyndaquil evolves into Quilava, but I'll leave the count the same since I'll need to breed to get the whole evolution line later. The Elder then gives us Flash, which we may or may not ever use. We then solve this Kabuto puzzle for what seems like the millionth time in my life, and find a very special unknown. And without need to evolve any further Pokemon at this time, we're ready to take on Falconer. After defeating the other trainers in the gym, who have the same level Pokemon as Falconer, Quilava easily takes the badge. Helm then gives us a call and asks us to hatch the mystery egg, which we'll gladly do. Now free to move on to Route 32, we can catch 2 Woopers, one of which will be joining my team for a while. Then after switching to morning, we can catch an Ekans. In the Pokemon Center further south, this kind gentleman gives us a fishing rod, which I can use in Union Cave to catch a Magikarp, and a Sandshrew. Not with the old rod, just also in the cave. I'm also skipping Onix here, but we'll come back for him later with some Ultra Balls. After sending an old man to fall down a well, we're able to clear out Team Rocket and catch a Slowpoke. Gavin intercepts me on the west side of Azalea, and I use some seedy accuracy lowering techniques to get the win against Croconaw. Gavin angsts his way through a conversation before leaving us alone, and Quilava burns down Bugsy's gym so we can pick up our second badge. In Ilex Forest, we chase a Farfetch'd around in order to get HM1 cut in order to progress through the forest. Togepi hatches from its egg, and following that we catch Kakuna, Metapod, as well as another Caterpie and Weedle to evolve later. I then change the time again to catch a Venonat, Psyduck, and Oddish. We can then move on to the Headbutt trees to catch a Noctowl, and a Pineco. Or not. We'll come back for you in Paris later. We can then exit Ilex Forest and move on to Route 34, where we catch a Drowsy, and collect an odd egg from the daycare before Caterpie evolves into Butterfree, and Weedle into Beedrill. In Goldenrod, we help out this dismayed businessman by advertising his back alley bike shop with the free bike he gives us, which will be very helpful for hatching eggs and gaining friendship. He claims we can ride it anywhere, but when I try to use it in his shop, I catch flack from Professor Oak. In the radio tower, we get a radio card for my Pokegear, which we'll need for a single Pokemon later. At level 20, Wooper evolves into Quagsire, and we catch a Pinsir in the bug catching contest. Unfortunately, it doesn't win us the Sunstone, so we'll have to come back for that later. But we do go back into the park and catch a female and a male Nidoran. On Route 35, we get Bugcatcher Arnie's number so he can call if there is a Yanma swarm to avoid searching for that 1% encounter. Here we also catch a Snubbull, a Growlithe, and a Jigglypuff. We'll come back for Abra later. Time to take on Whitney. I actually quite enjoy this gym, as it can be a totally different experience each time you play it. Sometimes you get your ass kicked, or you can set up huge rage damage on Clefairy and sweep with Croconaw, or you can cheese the battle with accuracy drops. The possibilities are endless. But I digress. Quagsire takes down the most attractive cow in the Pokemon world, and we can carry on our Living Dex challenge. We go next door to get the Squirt Bottle, which is a very strange name in my opinion. I think it's meant to be like a bottle that looks like a Squirtle, but it also just sounds strange and also very ineffective as far as watering plants goes. But anyways, she sends us to go find her sister on Route 36, so I go do that, catching a Sunkern on the way. And then her sister doesn't give me anything at all, but hints that I need to go talk to her sister all the way back in Goldenrod. Ugh. 1 Squirt Bottle, please. Now, what was I doing? Down by the daycare, I stand directly in front of this police officer and command my Pokemon to smash its head on a tree. And there are absolutely no repercussions whatsoever. But I do find an Execute to catch. And in the grass, we wander around until we find a shiny Quagsire! In the ball you go! Oh yeah, that's what we were doing. Hello, Weird Tree. Goodbye, Weird Tree. So I probably should have just caught Sudowoodo, but I was excited to get to Ecruteak, and I was planning to catch Sudowoodo in Gold in order to save time and Pokeballs in Crystal. But I do go into the grass further ahead and catch a Ladian and a Pidgeotto. Then in Ecruteak, we talk to Bill, activating the time capsule, and I can set Crystal aside for now and begin on Pokemon Gold. In Gold, we will need to catch some Pokemon that either evolve from trading, or are Gold and Silver exclusives like Mareep and Remoraid, as well as work on some friendship evolutions, trade a second Master Ball to Crystal, and of course, get the remaining starters. So we pick Chikorita and trade away Chikorita. Then we pick the real starter for this run, Totodile. I do a bit of a mad rush here, catching Zubat in Dark Cave, beating Falconer, and receiving the Mystery Egg. Then on Route 32, we catch 2 Mareep, and in Dark Cave, we catch an Onix. On the other side, we get Hiker Anthony's number so he can tell of any Dunsparce swarms. Then after beating Bugsy and the rival, Anthony calls me about a Dunsparce swarm. Well, that was quick. But I'm not walking all the way back to Dark Cave, so we'll come back to that later. In Ilex Forest, we catch a female Paris, and then headbutt for a Pineco. And on Route 34, we hatch and catch Togepi and Abra. Then Mareep evolves into Flaffy, and Totodile evolves into Croconaw. We can now beat Whitney and catch Sudowoodo, and go back to Dark Cave to catch a Dunsparce. Then I talk to Bill in Ecruteak, then I talk to Bill in Goldenrod, and he gives me an Eevee, which will hopefully evolve into either Umbreon or Espeon. Then in the bug catching contest, I catch a male Scyther, which wins me a Sunstone to use later. On that note, I catch another Sunkern before triggering the roaming legendaries at the Burnt Tower in Ecruteak. Then after defeating my future harem, I collect Surf, and then Zubat evolves into Goldbat, but I'll leave the count until she evolves into Crobat. I challenge the gym, and Morty wipes the floor with my team using Hypnosis and Dream Eater, so I do some training and come back for revenge. I can then surf over to Route 42 and catch 2 Mankey, a Flaffy, and north of Mahogany, I catch a Girafarig. In Olivine, I get the HM for Strength, and while ascending the lighthouse, Abra evolves into Kadabra. I collect the secret potion in Cianwood and defeat Chuck, allowing me to get Fly from his wife. Then on the way back to Olivine before facing Jasmine, I catch a Mantine, evolve Flaffy into Ampharos, and Croconaw into Feraligatr. Now back in Olivine, after delivering the secret potion to the top of the lighthouse, I can finally take on Jasmine and her dreaded Steelix. What the? Sunny day? Cerebi GS Gym Leaders. Jasmine. Huh. No Solar Beam or Fire type attacks. Okay, I can see how Sunny Day will lower the power of Water type moves, but Steelix is so slow that it'll most likely be knocked out before it even gets to use Sunny Day, and even if it does use it preemptively, Sunny Day boosts the power of Fire attacks, which are super effective against Steel anyways. At the Lake of Rage, we catch the red Gyarados, and get the red Scale, which I can trade to Mr. Pokemon for an experience share, which will be very helpful later. Then I chat to Champion Lance, who takes off like a spinning rocket apparently? Then I actually remember to go get the experience share, before watching Lance send this man to the Shadow Realm. Downstairs in the Rocket Hideout, we take out some Rocket Grunts, get some passwords to the Executives room, take out a Rocket Executive, get another password, take out some more Rocket Executives, then catch an Electrode. Then Lance gives us Whirlpool for saving the Johto radio frequencies. Yay! We plow through Price's gym, and upon exit, Professor Elm calls us and says that the radio station is all screwed up again. Well, that didn't last long at all. You encounter Team Rocket in a small well near the beginning of the game, and then nothing until the 7th gym, and then you have to spend 4 hours straight fighting them. That's way too long game. So I forgot to mention that I had put Pineco in the daycare to avoid having to train it, but it's going pretty slow, so I decided to take it out and just use the experience share. After that, the radio tower, then the underground, then under the department store, where we find the director for the radio tower, who gives us a card key for the radio tower, where we beat an executive who somehow predicts my Pokemon evolving. Then Pineco evolves into Fortress. But since we have to catch another Pineco and Crystal, the count will stay the same. We take back the tower, and Team Rocket is disbanded yet again, and the director gives us a Rainbow Wing to catch Ho-Oh. Now we can carry on with the Living Dex challenge, and to potentially help with that, I breed a male Scyther with False Swipe and a female Paris to get a Paris baby that knows False Swipe. Then after learning Spore and Sweet Scent, it will become a Pokemon catching machine. On Route 44, I get Fisherman Wilton's number so he can alert us of any Remoraid swarms, and due to the cycling I did up and down Goldenrod while waiting for an egg, Golbat gained enough happiness so she can finally evolve into Crobat. But the count will stay the same until I catch another Golbat in Crystal. Wilton then immediately calls us for a Remoraid swarm. I guess if you're looking for a certain person to call you in these games, you just need to have them as the only person in your contacts. It's that easy. But since I don't have a Super Rod yet, it's pretty meaningless, which until now, while I'm editing this video, I didn't know that when there's a swarm, you can apparently catch Remoraid with any rod, not just the Super Rod. So that's my fault, I guess. Catch Remoraid ASAP if you're in this situation. Don't wait until you get the Super Rod in Kanto. We race through the ice path, getting waterfall along the way, and come out on the other side, heading straight for Claire, who is much easier to beat this time. We go through the Dragon's Den trials and receive the Rising Badge from Claire. We are now able to head to the Elite Four, but not before getting the Master Ball from Professor Elm and doing some cleanup. We head over to the Tin Tower in Ecruteak, and at the top, we catch ourselves a Ho-Oh, saving the Master Ball for later. In the Slowpoke well, we find a King's Rock and catch a Slowpoke and a Slowbro. And on Route 45, we catch a Graveler. Then after having to go back and beat Sprout Tower to get Flash, we can go to Lugia's little den and catch 2 Seadra. Then head to Mount Mortar with an empty Pokemon slot to get a Dragon Scale and a Tyrogue from the Karate Master. And with a bit more walking, a False Swiping Paris hatches from the egg, and in Victory Road I find a more suitable candidate for the Metal Coat project, catching a second Onix. Now we can challenge the Elite Four. My team is fairly underleveled, but with a team of S-tiered Pokemon and a decent supply of healing items, I decided to try my luck. I challenge Will, no problem. Koga and Bruno, no problem. Karen, a bit of a struggle dealing with her Houndoom, but otherwise not a huge problem. Now Lance. This was the King Dakar of emotional roller coasters. I'll just show you the highlights. Goodbye, Gyarados. And thanks for the rain. That's really going to help for Alligator take out Aerodactyl. Dragonite, hey? Straight to Dragonite. Well, for Alligator, are you going to be able to live? Can you outspeed the Pokemon that's 8 levels higher than you? Thunder! Me! For Alligator, what are you doing? Oh my god, you're amazing! Oh, it's got 100% accuracy. I'm dead. Okay, I lied. I don't like this rain anymore. I will Thunder Wave you. That's fine, honestly. I can switch into Feraligatr. Then maybe, can I get a level off of him? Nope. What? He didn't recharge? What the fuck? What just happened? Why didn't he recharge? Lance is such a cheater. Like a bad cheater. What is with this? 3 under level 55 Dragonites? Hyper beaming with no recharge? Holy shit. That's disgusting, Lance. If he misses, he doesn't have to recharge? I mean, I guess that's kind of fair, but still. Here's Dragonite number 3. Oh, you're faster? Damn, Ho-Oh, good job. Good job being faster. Very proud of you, very proud. Oof. Well, maybe Ho-Oh can just take out Dragonite. He didn't get confused from outrage? What the f*** is this? Okay, that's game. What a disgusting match this is. Holy shit. Like, by and large, the most cheating I've ever seen in a game from an NPC. And a crit again! Any hyper beams. Oh my god. Lance is like, oh, the biggest cheater I've ever seen in my life. There we go. Some just desserts. Holy shit. Holy oh my god. I can't believe that. So while editing, I realized a couple of things, like how Hyper Beam doesn't need to recharge if you miss, and that Dragonite had a safeguard up, and that's why it didn't get confused from Outrage. But at the time, it seemed like Gen 1 levels of bullshit. So after entering the Hall of Fame with my modestly leveled team, Professor Elm gives us the SS ticket so we can travel over to Johto and finish the adventure in Pokemon Gold. We board the SS Aqua in Olivine City, and an elderly man enlists me to help find his granddaughter. We do so, and our reward is a Metal Coat, allowing me to get one of the 2 Steel-type trait evolutions, and then we collect the Super Rod on Route 12, and head all the way back to Johto to catch 2 Remoraid, and with the help of a rare candy, one evolves into Octillery. Again, apparently if you get a call about a Remoraid swarm, you don't need the Super Rod to fish them up. Apparently. So don't go making the same mistake I did. Then with a little bit more training, Togepi finally evolves into Togetic. Damn, friendship is hard. And with that evolution finally out of the way, we can be finished with Gold. I thought about playing all the way through until Mount Silver, where I could get a Larvitar and trade it to Crystal for boosted experience, but I think it would be way more work than it's worth. I had also planned on catching way more Pokemon in other games than trading to Crystal so they could get an experience boost, but I also think that would be a huge waste of time trading 100 plus Pokemon, so my initial game plan had changed a fair amount. So with that being said, we can start on Pokemon Red. I begin with the worst Bulbasaur I've ever had. It starts off by losing the first battle due to missing half of its attacks, and after receiving the Pokedex from Oak, which is useless for us here, it continues to miss, causing us to lose to a Diglett. Then after some Leech Seed stalling, I am able to finally learn Vine Whip halfway through the battle with Brock, allowing Bulbasaur to finally do some decent damage. After that, we start Pokemon Blue, so we can get Charmander. Then trade it to Red, and switch back over to playing Red again. A bit of switch training, and Charmander decides it doesn't need to obey anymore. Annoying, but not unworkable. We power through Route 3, catching a Jigglypuff, and evolving it with the first Moonstone we find. Then Charmander and Bulbasaur evolve on the way through Mount Moon, but the count will stay the same. At the end of Mount Moon, we bully this nerd into giving us a Helix fossil to be revived later. We arrive in Cerulean, heading straight to the gym to beat Misty to earn Charmeleon's respect so he will play nice with the rest of the team. We show Rival Blue who has the superior fire lizard and work our way over Nugget Bridge before catching an Abra. I will now be performing the Mew glitch, and if you are unaware of it, I'll explain as I go. You begin by having a Pokemon with Teleport or Fly. In this case, it's our freshly caught Abra. First, save the game in case of error. Then beside Nugget Bridge, you step down into this man's line of sight, pressing start as you do, opening the menu. You then use Teleport or Fly to go back to Cerulean. Your start menu will no longer work due to the game thinking you are in battle. You then traverse back over Nugget Bridge and battle this trainer, making sure to leave a space in between so he has to walk up to you. Beat his Slowpoke in battle, then teleport or fly back to Cerulean. Then walk back up to Nugget Bridge, and as the route changes, your start menu will pop up. Close the menu, and you will be sent into battle with the mythical Pokemon Mew. This glitch is usable to catch any Pokemon in the game, but I won't be going into any further details here. So after a large number of Pokeballs, Mew is caught. On the way to Bill's cottage, Abra evolves into Kadabra, but I'll leave the count the same until it evolves again. And after saving Bill from a life as a talking Pokemon, he gives us the SS ticket. We work our way down to Vermilion, and I catch a Dugtrio in Diglett's cave. Now it's about this time when I realize I need a lot of money to buy a Dratini at the Celadon Game Corner, so I'm forced to challenge every trainer on the SSN. It takes about half an hour to clear out all the random trainers, Rival Blue, and receive cut from the captain, but we are now free to carry on, getting Flash from Oak's aid on the other side of Diglett's cave. Then absolutely annihilate Lieutenant Surge with Dugtrio. It was a massacre. He never stood a chance. With the Thunder Badge giving us permission to use Fly, we are free to move on to Rock Tunnel. Despite my ability to get through this tunnel without Flash, I make it a little bit easier on myself and more aesthetically pleasing by using it. We come out clean on the other side and defeat Blue in the Lavender Tower. I grab an additional nugget in the underground, then head to Celadon to pick up an Eevee, and at the department store, buy a Firestone to evolve it into Flareon. We then head over to the game corner, begging everyone for coins and scrounging every dropped coin. Then move on to the Rocket Hideout downstairs to get more money to buy a Dratini. Along the way, Charmeleon overlevels, and I'm forced to go to Erica's gym to get the 4th badge, which should keep Charmeleon satiated until we get the next required badge. In the gym, Ivysaur evolves into Venusaur. We then have enough money to buy a Dratini, and go back downstairs to get the lift key from this guy, who, in the first gen, doesn't automatically drop it like in later games. You have to talk to him again after beating him. Not sure how I figured that out as a kid. We then have access to Giovanni, and he kindly gives us the Sylph Scope. Now able to see ghosts, we go back to the Lavender Tower and catch 2 Haunters. I then put the Marowak ghost to rest, and Cubone can join it soon after. Sorry. After taking care of Team Rocket on the top of the tower, Charmeleon evolves into Charizard. And Mr. Fuji gifts us the Poke-Flute, which we'll be able to use to catch Snorlax. Next time in part 2, which I will be working on live on Twitch. I stream Sunday and Monday evenings at twitch.tv/manoflego. It would be awesome to see you there, and thank you to everyone who has previously joined me. I was originally going to make this a single video, but apart from the length of the video, it would also take probably another 2 months to finish it, so I'll be putting out 2 or maybe 3 parts. I've had a ton of fun so far, and I'm really excited to finish it. If you've enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you'd like, you can buy me a Pokeball at ko-fi.com/manoflego. My name's Tyler, and until next time, keep working on those Pokedexes.